What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon podcast. On this episode, we're going to do a very short recap of this past weekend's fights, UFC at the Apex between Sean Brady and Gilbert Burns. We had a great matchup there stylistically. Obviously, Sean Brady gets the unanimous decision, but we're going to discuss that very shortly. Then we get into something a little bit different, something new that we haven't really done on this show before, and I think something we're going to implement doing moving forward. This week, we went into our MMA Mount Rushmore. Myself, Joel, and Nick each weighed in. We gave 4 names that we would put on MMA's Mount Rushmore. If you guys listen to this and you have some thoughts or you disagree or agree with us on something, leave a comment down below. All right, let us know what you think or who you think should be on MMA's Mount Rushmore. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, Amazon Music, you can click the link in the description of the podcast to send us a text message. It sends us a message right to us where all 3 of us can easily respond, and we'll bring it up on next week's episode and start having some more interactions with our viewers. Then we get into the highly anticipated UFC 306, UFC Noche, UFC at the Sphere between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili. Say that name 3 times fast. Anyway, we're going to get into that. We're going to break down that card. We have Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso, Diego Lopez, Brian Ortega, all these millions and millions of dollars Dana White and the UFC has thrown into this event for the production. What should we expect as a viewer, whether you're sitting at home or you're going to be in Las Vegas this Saturday at the event? Let me know what you think of the Sphere card, of the event. What do you expect? I think there's high expectations, and potentially this could be one of the greatest live combat sporting events we've ever seen. If you're not already, please support the show. Click that subscribe button down below, man. Click that and drop a thumbs up and like the video for me. All right. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music, turn on automatic downloads so you never miss another episode of Over the Octagon podcast. Without further ado, let's get right into it, baby.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
You don't doubt you, miss, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Headshot, that's it.
What's up, nerds and virgins? Welcome back. Welcome back to the next and newest installment of Over the Octagon podcast with your host, Joel, Evan, and Nick.
Yeah,
down there. And yeah, man, so we're fresh off another UFC Apex show, and we are now officially in fight week for UFC 306 or UFC Noche. This pay-per-view has so many names.
Oh yeah.
Yet we still can't get like named events like UFC Redemption or
let's bring it back to the classics. We've talked about it 100 times before, Dana White. Come on.
We're getting closer. Maybe we're getting closer with, UFC Noche.
I mean, we're slowly starting to get different fight kits. We're slowly starting to get like a new belt, like the whole UFC Mexican champion belt is there.
Yep.
You got there's a bunch
Baby
of new
steps.
shit we're getting. Maybe it's slowly coming
There's
back.
positives. There's a lot of positives. All right, so let's kind of breeze through UFC Vegas last night. Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns. Obviously, Sean Brady wins a decision. 2 judges had it 50-45 for Brady. 1 had it 49-46. I think we all had it watching it last night 4-1 Brady, but
Yeah.
I think the third round is where you could have given it to Burns, but I mean, I guess I could see that going in Brady's favor as well. I don't necessarily. It's not really a scorecard worth arguing, right? Like, I mean, he definitely
really
won.
I mean, you could have argued that Brady won every round, to be honest.
You could.
I mean, it's
and 2 judges had it that way. Solid matchup though, like as even
dude.
and high level. I know, Joel, you tweeted from our Over the Octagon Twitter account last night. Like that the epitome of high-level MMA.
It was beautiful.
Striking, stand up on the feet. Brady had the edge in the striking battle, which was, I feel like, something maybe was kind of unexpected in that matchup. And then their wrestling and their grappling was just like dead even. Nothing until the end. Brady started getting more takedowns in the end of the fight when they were tired and gassed out.
Yeah, man, it was an awesome grappling exhibition, man. It was sick to watch. Gilbert Burns' escapes were nuts,
Dude,
man.
Their scrambles are crazy.
The scrambling transitions were beautiful, man.
Man,
beautiful.
that was great to watch, man. I feel like casuals would say that's a boring fight, but I loved every second of that fight, man.
I don't even know if you could even say it was a boring fight, though.
Nah,
it'd be different if he was like, if Brady just held him there and Burns did nothing. But like, that was a full on, like, from 25 minutes of fun. Like, fun to watch fight.
I would like to see a rematch between the two under the Fury grappling banner on UFC Fight Pass. Like, I think you get them guys just on a flat mat in a grappling match, I think would be disgusting.
Just grappling, no striking.
Yeah. Force them into the grappling battle. You know what I mean? Like that. It would be. That would be cool. And they're two big names in the UFC that I think would bring a lot of eyes to an event like that. So that would be sick.
We need more of that, man.
Yeah,
I love those.
More CJI.
Look at. I don't know if we want to bring this up yet, but I'm gonna just throw the name out. Look at Mighty Mouse. Coming off a retirement, and his big reason for retirement was that he fell in love with BJJ, and he just wants to compete strictly BJJ. Like, if we can get a couple of these guys, like Gilbert Burns would be a perfect one. He's 38 years old. He's coming close to the end of his career. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, he would be a perfect guy to take on that whole, like, this new modern age BJJ world and like go and transition it to. You can be good at BJJ and be 45 years old and be out here submitting people, dude. It's like,
for sure,
the perfect sport for the guys coming out of the UFC who are still healthy and very active,
Yeah. So that was the main event last night. Big win for Sean Brady. Kind of a call out for Ian Gary. I mean, he wanted somebody in the top 5, but he also like kind of called out Ian Gary.
It was weird. I mean, and I was also confused. Like, they have the same manager, or I guess they have the
same manager. Yeah, I think they have the same manager. He said so.
Yeah, man. Ugh.
That's. I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that fight for Sean Brady, for either one of those guys. I mean, Sean Brady was 8. Gilbert Burns was 6. You'd assume that Sean Brady takes that ranking now. He's 6th.
Yep.
So he wants somebody in the top 5. But yeah, I mean, I like it. And then your co-main event last night.
Such a beautiful co-main.
Yeah, Jessica Andrade.
Dude, clinic. That was fire.
Yeah, so Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. And big win for Natalia Silva.
Got fight of the night.
Fight of the night.
Yep.
Unanimous decision again, but like it wasn't close either.
No.
Like not even a little bit. She had no damage. Andrade was just getting beat up, dude.
And to do that to someone like Jessica Andrade just shows you how elite Natalia Silva's striking truly is.
Kicking, man.
Andrade is not a fucking pushover by any means.
No way.
Like,
she's great
hard
gatekeeper.
to strike against, man.
So Andrade was what, 7? Believe.
Was it 10 versus 7? Or was it 8 versus 7 or something?
See if you can find what the rankings were as of last night. I feel like Andrade was 7.
I think she was 7.
Just because I brought this up to you guys last night. I said it while we were watching the fights, but
she was, what was that at? Flyweight?
She was 6.
She was 6,
yeah,
and
6.
And Silva was 8. So.
All right, so she takes her rank, same situation as the main event, 8 and 6, right? So the 8th takes the 6th ranking. You got to think that she called for a title shot, Natalia Silva, which we know she's not going to get. You have Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko fighting this Saturday at the Sphere, UFC 306. You also have Manon Fiorot, right?
In line for the next title shot.
Yeah, like no matter what, Silva's 1 or 2 fights away. And I brought this matchup last night, and I think it's good test for her stylistically is Erin Blanchfield. She's coming off the loss. She lost to Manon Fiorot
Yeah, but now it may be we may be kind of. I think they may put Barber up against Blanchfield, 4 versus 3.
Well, Barber was supposed to fight Rose Namajunas.
Oh, that's right. What happened
And
to that?
and then she got hurt or she couldn't compete,
right.
and that's where Tracy Cortez stepped in.
You're right.
So I don't know. I mean, dude, listen, women's MMA, dude, we're fucking back.
We are back. It's a good discussion.
The flyweight division's looking stout, boys.
Women's MMA, UFC flyweight, solid division. And
Mackenzie
then
Dern has some competition out there, you know.
We have, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know, big dog.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah, Natalia Silva's up there for sure.
Woo.
So we're not going to get too much into the recap of the UFC fight at the Apex last night. We have a big UFC pay-per-view coming this Saturday. UFC The Sphere, UFC 306, UFC Noche, whatever you want to call it. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili.
Nice.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Say that name 3 times fast, dude.
You killed it.
Dvalishvili.
Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez. I mean, even like Daniel Zellhuber's Mexican fighter, who's a favorite on that. Ronaldo Rodriguez, Irene Aldana, Norma Dumont, women's bantamweight. That's on the prelims.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, Manuel Torres, Yasmin. I mean, you know, there's Raul Rojas.
Yeah, early prelims.
He's the starting fight.
Is there? Why is that? Is that just like strategically, like kind of like a UFC 300 thing, to where they had Cody and Davison as the first fight of the night? Like they want a banger to kind of start it off. So they're.
Might be it.
I mean, he has to be one of the, you know, more popular up and coming Mexican fighters at this point.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it's probably like that. I mean, the way that I've been reading about this whole card is like everything is set up strategically to align with like a movie that Dana White's trying to create. Like every
love story to Mexico.
Yeah, like every fight, in between every fight, there's going to be like a short film.
Okay.
To like dedicate to the next culture of Mexico. Like every fight has its own like little like piece of history.
I thought I saw, right, like going through time periods of Mexican athletes in combat sports.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, it's super cool. I think
maybe because he's the youngest, maybe on the card. Maybe they start as the youngest. Maybe they've strategically planned it that way. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we're going to get into as far as like production value goes with the Sphere. It's definitely going to be something that like I want to be locked into from start to finish. You know, because I do think even if you're not at the event, I think the viewer experience, even at home, is going to be fucking sick.
Yeah, man. It's going to be like we're watching a movie. I really think it's going to be like little movies between fights, and that's just going to be awesome.
Like, I've seen videos of some things at the Sphere, so I'm really interested into seeing, like, how that works with an octagon and fights and, like, you know, all that stuff. Like, there's a lot that goes into that, and it's such a unique venue. So, going to be awesome. Before we get into UFC 306, we've been having a discussion over the last few days. And we'll get into a little conversation piece before we go into the full breakdown of UFC 306, UFC The Sphere, UFC Noche. I think I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to call it like all 3 things every time.
Do it.
MMA Mount Rushmores.
Yes, sir.
4 names. We've already we've talked probably too much about this already, right? Because we brought up, you know, some certain things that could maybe throw this for a loop. But MMA Mount Rushmores, it's not necessarily like your GOAT list, right? Like, I feel like that would be something different, like your top 4 or top 5 of all time. I feel like that's a different discussion. It's not really the same thing. MMA Mount Rushmore. Yeah, Nick Nasty. What do you got? Drop it on me, baby. You go first.
Should I drop it? Me first?
Yeah.
All right, man.
Nasty first.
Give me a name and then a breakdown of why, like, kind of like a short little why you got that guy.
Okay.
Or
I'm
female.
breaking it. There is a girl. No, there's not. There's no girls on this list. But I actually broke mine down by like generations. So
Okay.
I'm going first. Has to be Royce Gracie. I just don't see a Mount Rushmore without him, for me personally. That dude created a style of jiu-jitsu that's literally changed the world. You know, his style is the first style. So he's got to be on my list. Second, It's weird, man. He's definitely not the best fighter of all time. Not even top 10. It's Chuck Liddell. Right there. He was the next generation of like, this dude is going to be winning for a while. And it was either like him or Tito or Randy Couture in that generation. I was like, Chuck. Chuck was like the knockout artist. So then after the Chuck era, Anderson Silva era was huge, man. And so I got Spider Silva right there, number 3, because that was the scariest fighter, in my opinion, of all time. That dude's Muay Thai was fucking nuts. And then it's got to end. It's got to end with John Jones right now.
Okay, so Royce Gracie, Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, and John Jones. That's a solid list. That's
like
a solid Mount Rush. I do. And I like the way you approached it generationally.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I do. I like it.
There was
The Mount Rushmore discussion's so cool because it could be so different. So many people have different viewpoints on what that could be. That's a solid list, though. You can't argue. I don't think you could argue against any person you have on that list.
Fuck yeah, man. There's a couple other people. I'm not going to say them because I guarantee one of you guys are going to say them.
No, we can talk honorable mentions afterwards.
Yeah. Afterwards, let's talk on honorable mentions. I like that. All right, Joel, what do you got?
Oh, I'm next. All right, so did we determine if this was
give
Mount
it to me?
Rushmore
Just
of
give
MMA?
it to me.
All right.
Mount Rushmore of MMA.
All right, so
Because I think I know what you're doing. So go ahead.
Okay, so my first on the list is the same as Nick's. You got to go with Royce Gracie at number 1 on the Mount Rushmore. It's simply just because jiu-jitsu would not be what it is in MMA if it wasn't for him and his family and what they created along this whole fucking journey of martial arts. Like, he's the originator of it. He's there. He's been there from the beginning, and it's still
UFC 1
lives on, you know?
Yeah.
My second was tough because I was fighting between two people. But I'm going to actually throw another early veteran in there as well, Ken Shamrock. And I know it's Nick's favorite fighter, but I'm going to say I put him on this list because he was the first complete martial artist in MMA who kind of set the tone for the all-around package. Like, he was
a well-rounded mixed martial artist,
the first champion, the first all-around fighter who really like set the tone for the future in martial arts for other people to learn how to do all aspects of MMA. My number 3 is the Mac, Conor McGregor. He has to be on the Mount Rushmore simply because that guy has done so much in the world of martial arts just by his name alone that if you don't put him on his list, like, there are people that want to just fight him just because of who he is. You name me any other fighter in the world that has the reputation or the name Conor McGregor, like that, you have to put him on there. He's the most influential.
He's the biggest superstar in MMA history.
Yeah, 100%. And then so my fourth, this is I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna say Dana White in MMA Mount Rushmore. And I say Dana White because, like, he's probably the greatest sports owner of all time. He's probably the greatest, like, president, sports, any director, leader, whatever you can think of. Like, without Dana White, MMA really probably doesn't exist on the level that it does today. And I just feel like you can't not put him in there. Now, if we were just talking about a fighter, my fourth would have been Ronda Rousey, just because she set the tone for women's MMA. But I had to put I wanted to put a little mix in there and throw Dana in there. I feel like Dana deserves to be on the MMA Mount Rushmore. Now, if it was MMA fighters, it'd be a little different, like I said. But Dana is the reason why we're doing this podcast. He's the reason why it's as popular as it is. He takes that shit super serious. All his fighters respect him. All the fans bitch about fighter pay, but you don't ever hear fucking fighters come out and say that shit to Dana. Like, you don't hear him talking shit to Dana. They all love Dana.
Yeah.
They all
They'll
love the
beg for a
UFC.
bonus.
Everybody wants to get in the UFC, you know? Like,
Yeah, he definitely turned a broken business and a shit business into the biggest and most popular promotion in mixed martial arts.
absolutely.
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to go with Dana at my number 4.
Good take,
All right.
man.
So a lot of similarities. I'm surprised I didn't hear John Jones on your list, to be honest.
Well, I didn't put John Jones on my list because we didn't do a GOAT Mount Rushmore. I took it, and I don't feel like John Jones is one of the most influential fighters of all time. I just think he's the greatest fighter of all time. So I don't think his impact to martial arts
do
really.
You think, go ahead.
No, you're good. What were you about to ask?
Would you put Michael Jordan on the basketball Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, because he changed the game. People looked up to Michael Jordan. MMA fighters like I feel like it's a different scenario though, because Mike, yeah, he was the greatest basketball player of all time, but he also, there was so many things that he did while he was in the NBA that like made him Michael Jordan.
I got
John
5 pairs of
Jones.
Jordans.
John Jones was the greatest fighter of all time. Yeah, but he also had steroid allegations, shit that got him in trouble. He didn't represent himself in MMA well enough to me to put him on the Mount Rushmore of MMA.
Okay, fair enough.
So
I like that, Joel.
All right, so I'll give you mine. We're all in kind of an agreement, but yeah, my number one is also Royce Gracie.
It's hard
Got
not
to.
to.
UFC 1, started out 11-0 in the UFC, mixed martial arts. Started competing in a fucking gi.
yeah,
And that was at a time to where like nobody knew what that was, what he was doing. You know what I mean? Legend of mixed martial arts, of the sport. In more recent years in his fighting career, he even has TKO victories and shit. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, Gracie, I feel like the Gracie name in general belongs somewhere on a mixed martial arts Mount Rushmore.
the whole Gracie name is the
So
Hall of Fame,
if you have to put one up there, one face on the Mount Rushmore of MMA, I feel like it would have to be him. Second on my list is John Jones.
Okay.
The greatest of all time, youngest champion ever, tied, I think, with Mighty Mouse for most UFC title defenses.
15, right?
I think it's 11. But either way, unbelievably dominant career. Yeah, some issues, whatever. But, other than the haters, I think he's the consensus greatest of all time.
Yeah, I agree. He's the greatest.
I don't think there's. So in my mind, I think he has to. I just think he has to be there. It's gonna we talk about, is anybody gonna break the record of youngest champion? And in today's UFC, I don't know if that's ever gonna be broken. You know what I mean? So I just think what we watched him do over the years and how dominant he was, and the people he beat, the dominant champions he beat. My third, I'm going to go Joe Rogan.
Let's go. Holy fuck.
I love it.
Joe Rogan on the MMA Mount Rushmore. Solely because, and I liked your pull at Dana White, but even Dana White credits
Joe Rogan. Yeah.
the UFC and MMA's growth significantly to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Right? I know he's a non-fighter, but still he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's been a commentator since the very beginning, started commentating UFC fights for free just so he could be there at the show. Essentially for free tickets at the best seat in the house. That loyalty's been paid back to him in full, I think, numerous times.
100%.
But yeah, I think I was just in my mind I don't know that it's similar to me the Bruce Buffer thing. It's hard to imagine a UFC without Joe Rogan. It's hard to imagine a big UFC event without it's time, Bruce Buffer, like that whole thing. So that Joe Rogan was on my list. And then, I'm also going to go with the Mac, Conor McGregor, on there as well. So a little bit newer kind of name. Well, I guess Joe Rogan's been around for a long time. John Jones, Conor McGregor. The Conor McGregor thing to me, I feel like it's just, you can't argue it, bro. This he's the biggest superstar MMA. I mean, you could argue he's the biggest superstar in combat sports of any combat sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just, first 2-division champion.
See, now,
first double champ in UFC history. If he was to go out
and stay, like, if he had a John Jones record, Conor McGregor, he would be like the Michael Jordan of martial arts.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the way he represented himself, the way he.
Well, he had a lot of fucked up things about him too, man. You know
Michael
what I mean?
Jordan did too, but he didn't have steroid allegations. He didn't beat his wife, and he didn't.
Yeah, he got arrested. He got arrested a few. For sure, he got a few arrests and stuff like. I don't even care about any of that. Mount Rushmore of MMA. I think you have to put McGregor on it. He's the biggest superstar. All right, throw out some. We've heard all the lists. Throw me out some honorable mentions.
Mine was Conor McGregor.
Khabib. Okay, for your list, honorable mention Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
I hate Khabib, but
GSP
you got it. I feel like you have to put him on close enough.
Yeah,
because there's some motherfuckers that like he is just his name alone. He's another one. Like his name alone has created this whole new like system of fighters, man.
Yeah.
Like, the Khabibers.
Right.
Gracie effects, man. Like what Gracie did.
Yeah. Like I feel like he's the modern day,
his version of wrestling.
Wrestling, dude.
His wrestling in MMA. I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
That's another one. Bruce Buffer's probably a good honorable mention.
Oh,
like it's one of those guys you just when he's gone, you're gonna miss him.
Yeah, I was kind of like back and forth. Anderson Silva,
GSP,
on mine as well. GSP. I heard Nick just say GSP.
Well,
I think you go back. I liked the Chuck Liddell pull.
Oh yeah, he was
like I like when I started this. Yeah, Fedor Emelianenko.
Yeah.
When I started to see UFC on TV when I was way younger, like Chuck Liddell was the face of the UFC.
He was, man. He was like,
you know what I mean?
He was in movies and shit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I liked the Chuck Liddell pull as well. Here's one I was gonna kind of throw out solely based on fan popularity, because I feel like your most popular and loved by the fans, people or fighters, could also warrant being put on MMA Mount Rushmore. I was going to go Nick Diaz.
Oh shit,
Nick or Nate?
Both. You could fucking
the Diaz
brothers? We'll do a throw it in one.
Diaz Army.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, I don't know that I've ever even talked to a single person that doesn't like them.
It's true.
Yeah, they're huge, man. You don't
find me one person. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whoever's listening to this, wherever you're listening to this, find me a person that doesn't like the Diaz brothers.
That's also kind of like to say like Max Holloway. Like, find me someone who hates Max Holloway.
For sure. I think
Dustin Poirier. Find me someone who really hates Dustin Poirier. Like,
so like my, I guess, I feel like my kind of argument for putting, it'd be hard for me. I know like John Jones is active still, kind of. But like, Max is still very much active. He's about to fight for a featherweight title. Like, I don't know if, he's at a point in his career at 32 where you could put him on a Mount Rushmore. But like the Diaz brothers, I feel like you could. I think that's a solid.
Matt Hughes.
I mean, we can make a second team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I think that's the honorable mentions, right?
See, I think though that's where we do these Mount Rushmores every week, or we do something like this every week, but it's different category based. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of doing Mount Rushmore of MMA, next time we do Mount Rushmore of the fucking most liked fighters of all time or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You
I
could
like
even
it.
do like non-fighters, you know, like put some refs in there, Bruce Buffer, Joe Rogan, Dana White, all that stuff. Non-fighters. Would be sick.
Yeah. I did flirt with the idea, of some long-term refs, you know what I mean? The Herb Deans of the world and stuff.
Dan
What happened to
Pagliatti.
John McCarthy? What happened to that fucker?
Yeah,
He was
Big
the
John
ref.
McCarthy.
Big John.
I mean, dude, you got to think, like, show me any MMA fan in the world that doesn't recognize Herb Dean as soon as they see him.
Surely.
Because he refs all over the place. So you'll see him reffing a one championship fight, and you'll go, Herb Dean, because that's, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's you could argue it.
Agree.
But a solid
That's fun,
list.
though. I like that. I think we start doing that more often. We can get some clips out of that. It'll be fun.
For sure. Solid list, boys. I like it. Hoist Gracie on all three.
All three.
Sick.
So I think that's a no-brainer. So UFC 306, UFC Noche, UFC The Sphere this Saturday.
I love it.
This Saturday, September 14th. Only 10 fights on this card.
Yep.
Main event, Sean O'Malley, Merab, Dvalishvili.
I'm ready for that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah. How do you guys see that one playing out?
Dude, Sean O'Malley, second round knockout. He's going to beat the brakes out of Merab, dude. I'm telling you. Merab's going to come rushing in and catch a hook. That's
Okay.
what I'm going.
I think Nick convinced me last night because I was leaning Merab. Like I still like if Merab pressures O'Malley like he does every other fight, O'Malley may be in trouble, bro. Like if he can take him down with ease, like it's not going to be comfortable for Sean O'Malley. That's not his game. That's not how he's going to fight. But if he rushes in like that, Sean O'Malley's the best pinpoint striker in the UFC. He finds that. He finds
arguably
10, dude.
Sean's coach is awesome, right? And so I guarantee all Sean's coach has been doing is saying, all right, Sean, your training partner is just going to run and try to tackle you the whole time. And now he's just sitting there trying to throw counters.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a great
it's
game
what
plan.
we saw with Aljo, right? It's how we saw him beat Aljo. Aljo really did not have very much success in the wrestling in the first round. I mean, a little bit, but not enough. Now, if Merab can stay alive longer than Aljo did and do that over 5 rounds, O'Malley could be in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, man.
I think it's so interesting because it's like you're kind of waiting. You're going to be waiting for that shot from O'Malley. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
let's not forget, like Merab got wobbled by Henry Cejudo.
Sure, twice I think.
Yeah. So no, I mean he dominated Cejudo. Don't get me wrong, but Cejudo's an Olympic wrestler. Like Cejudo's a wrestler. I think Merab leaves himself exposed a little bit too much.
I agree with that.
To where if somebody that like Henry Cejudo is able to chin him up, I think O'Malley's going to put him to sleep.
Oh man, it's going to be lights out, guys.
We'll see.
We're all pulling for O'Malley on this one.
Yeah, we can't have Merab be a champion in the UFC, dude. That's terrible.
With him and Bilal, I'll jump off a cliff.
Yeah, dude. We can't have it. The universe, if that's what happens, the universe hates us all.
Look what happened last year. I mean, we saw Sean Strickland was a champ, O'Malley became champ, and we almost had Colby Covington be the champ.
Shit. Well,
I mean, I'd honestly take those 3 over Bilal, Merab, and Islam.
We'll see, man. So I mean, it's like at even odds right now too. Actually, the main event and the co-main event are like both at even odds, damn near.
Champion's got a slight edge.
Yeah, Shevchenko has a slight edge, and Merab has a slight, or O'Malley has a slight edge. So, yeah, but I mean, razor thin. They're both minus. So, but yeah, Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili at the Sphere. I think the show that they're going to put on at the Sphere too is going to be just insane. Yeah,
I hope the viewers at home really get to experience at least something about it.
Yeah,
like I get it. Going there, it's going to be a whole different story. But I want to at least. Did you also hear that this is the first time that the UFC is going to be shown in 1080p?
No, I did not hear that. What has it been shown in before?
It's been in 720p the whole time.
No, I don't believe that.
Bro, I swear.
Where'd you see
Look
that,
it up.
dude?
Ariel
Did you
Helwani
see
said it,
that?
that thing.
Did you see that on Twitter?
Helwani said it.
That sounds like a fucking thing you read on Twitter from
Bro,
some dude named Joe Schmo MMA.
Helwani.
Best.
Was that a Jack Black MMA tweet?
No.
That seems like a.
Bro, we got to find out, bro. I'm telling you.
All right, well,
First
we'll look
time
into that.
ever.
We'll look into that. I find that incredibly hard to believe, but we'll look into that. I watch them in 1080p in Discord, dude, so I don't feel like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can share it in 1080p, that's,
Look, right here, some interesting factoids about UFC 306 next week and per the promotion. This is Ariel Helwani. This will be the first 1080p TV broadcast of UFC event in ESPN history.
I need to know more. I have so many questions about that. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you're
know.
telling me that no UFC event up until this point has been in HD? I find that incredibly hard to believe, dude.
I thought it was crazy, too, until I read it.
There's no way.
Blowing my mind.
There's no way I
Dude, trust me,
believe that.
everybody's on here going, wait, for real? We've been watching it in 720p the whole time?
I don't. If that's true, then I don't even know what resolution is anymore. Like, then what the fuck is 4K?
There's great. I hope my illegal stream is 1080p too.
Right?
That's funny.
That is wow. Okay.
Yeah, I told you.
But there's some other bangers too. There's two title fights. Your co-main event, long-awaited trilogy fight between Valentina Shevchenko and the women's flyweight champion Alexa Grasso, coming off their Ultimate Fighter, coaching season or whatever. Same thing, even odds. I don't know about this fight because obviously Grasso got her the first time to win the belt. She was losing and ended up getting her in that submission, and then they fought to a draw the second time.
Yep.
So I don't know. I feel like Grasso is so defensively sound that it's hard for Shevchenko to put her out, and then it leaves it up for a judge's decision. And somebody that's such a technical boxer like Grasso is, she is going to win that decision. I think it's Grasso by decision. That's my
Think so?
prediction for this fight. Yeah,
I got Grasso as well, man. I think it's going to be. Valentina Shevchenko has been good forever, man. I almost think this is going to be the turn of her career. And I think it might be Alexa Town from now on. So I'm going to go with her for sure.
Yeah, it's been Alexa Town for a little bit, but the first fight when she wins by submission, people called it a fluke. Then the second time they had a rematch and it's a draw. So I think, it's kind of a shame to say, but I think for the majority of people, Alexa Grasso almost needs a legitimate, no doubt victory over Shevchenko to really cement her, status as champion. Otherwise, it'll always be in question. And you could always throw you could have her and Shevchenko just fight over and over and over and over again.
We get 4 draws in a row.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But it doesn't get any better women's MMA than those two. That's as high level of women's MMA as we have right now for sure.
It's going to really determine on if Valentina stayed worked on her grappling, stayed consistent with her striking. And if she can do that, then she has a great opportunity to win. Because by no means, without a doubt, she's arguably one of the greatest women MMA fighters of all time. So,
that'll be on one of our. We'll do that women's MMA Mount Rushmore too one time.
I like that.
So, but yeah, all right. So I got Grasso by decision. That's my prediction. That's just how I see it shaking out. What do you boys think?
I think a little submission victory for Grasso.
Okay, a little repeat of the first fight.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be the Leon Edwards moment where it's it's not a fluke. I'm gonna sub you again, and he just takes care of Usman.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're going to see exactly what we're going to see in the main event. We're going to see a right when Grasso comes in, bam, knockout, second round, Valentina Shevchenko.
No, okay,
Dude, I can definitely. So Valentina's been talking so much too about not leaving it up to the judges, going like she thinks she got robbed in the draw. She thinks she should have won that fight. Obviously Mexican Independence Day, UFC Noche at the Sphere, like this whole thing. She thinks the judges will not be in her favor against the Mexican champion. So I think she's going to be going a little extra hard to push for the finish,
Give me
which
that second
could,
round TKO.
yeah, which could either be a benefit or, you know, be her down. It could potentially be her downfall if she's not careful and she's reckless. You know, Grasso's legit. Don't sleep. But yeah, I like it.
I agree.
This might be Brian Ortega Diego Lopez is kind of 1A and 1B for me with the O'Malley Merab fight as my most anticipated fight on this card. Grasso Shevchenko is a easy, you know, second place, but my 1A, 1B would be Merab and O'Malley, and then Ortega Diego Lopez. I'm super excited for this. I don't know. I mean, it comes down to, I think this is another one that comes down to who wins on the feet, and I think Diego Lopez wins on the feet.
he does, man. He 100% wins on the feet, and that's why it's crazy, man. I have the slight edge, Diego Lopez, and I love Brian Ortega. He's awesome, man. I'm here for his comeback and everything, but Diego Lopez is a fucking beast, and he's making quite the name for himself right now, man.
Are we going to see what we just saw last night in Burns Brady? Two elite grapplers going at it, and whoever wins the striking battle wins the fight.
Yes.
I think that's exactly what this is. Yeah, I do. Like, I know I would probably give Ortega the edge in the grappling slightly, but like I give a wider margin of skill on the feet to Diego Lopez. I think Diego Lopez, like, you know, I can never get the image out of my head of Max Holloway teaching Brian Ortega how to block a 1-2 in the octagon as they're fighting. You know what I mean? Like that's the wildest shit to me. Like, how is that even possible?
Take down Diego Lopez. So
yeah, So, dude, super excited for this. Give me Diego Lopez TKO.
Let's go, Murky. Me too. Come on, what round?
3-round fight, remember.
It is only a 3-round fight.
Oh, that's tough, dude.
I don't know, man. I don't know round. Give me Diego Lopez TKO. I'm going to take that.
I'm going first round, dog.
First round?
First round
I'm feeling
TKO.
froggy right now.
Yeah, I think
Ortega's tough,
catch him
man.
with a knee, man. Just like catch him with an incoming knee on
Oh,
a shot or something. Like, he's durable enough to just catch him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a
Ortega's
good
tough,
fight.
though. You know what I mean? Ortega's definitely tough. Like, like even the fight I referenced, Ortega versus Max Holloway. Like, Max Holloway was beating the shit out of him, but and couldn't put him away. You know, so I don't know, but I like Diego Lopez by TKO. I think that's the move. But either way, I'm excited, man.
I don't hate it.
Super excited for that. There are, you know, some other good fights. What else if you guys are looking at the card, I mean, what else on this card kind of sticks out to you aside from those last three that obviously are huge?
I mean, obviously, Raul Rojas starting out the night. You got to put that there. I mean, he's up and coming. He's one loss in the UFC, and that was to a ranked Christian Rodriguez.
Yeah. And he's come back and won since then.
Yeah, I mean, he's arguably 2 shots away from being in the top 15. If he gets 2 good wins under his belt, he could be fighting right there in the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, who knows? I mean, we'll see how much how his improvement goes throughout his career. But I mean, he looked good his last fight. He looked good the fight before that, and then obviously he's got that one loss. But I mean, and his name is perfect for this event.
Chee-wee-wee.
He's got the chee-wee-wee crowd going.
Yeah.
this Joshua Van Edgar Chairez fight is going to be a fucking banger.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Would it be crazy to throw out like the fact that could possibly end up being a fight of the night?
No, not at all. No. Both of them are great fighters.
Yeah, it's
a fair matchup. I like it.
Yeah, so be on the lookout. I mean, like I said in the beginning of talking about the Sphere here, like, you know, I want to be locked in from start to finish for this entire card and production, the whole thing. I don't want to miss this fight. It's the first fight on the prelims. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, well, kind of. You have one fight that they're classifying as an early prelim with Raul Rojas. Then it goes into, you know, the Joshua Van fight, which I think is going to be a war and has potential to be fight of the night. So
even Dumont Aldana's, I mean, top 10 women's bantamweight. So
yeah,
I mean, see what they're about, you know?
Yeah, bantamweight division in women's MMA is a fucking joke. You know, as much as we talk about the flyweight, how elite that division is, women's bantamweight MMA is the complete opposite.
Yeah, for sure. You know? Somebody's got to make a name for themselves in that division, though. We need to get
Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, we need to get Kayla Harrison up there. Like
she's not the current champ.
Yeah, because the Raquel Penningtons, the Juliana Pena, miss me with all that.
Please.
I'm good. But yeah, I like that too. Top 10 women's fight. Ariana Aldana looked really good. Then she got a loss. Norma Dumont looks great. Yeah, Norma Dumont's fine too, low key.
Low key, high key. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, high key.
Her.
Norma Dumont got it going on.
Hell yeah.
Another competition out there.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna add that into the list too.
I like that's a great list.
Mount Rushmore of best looking MMA athletes.
Oh man,
athletes.
While writing my list, I'll pass out 3 different times.
Yeah,
I'm gonna choke out the chicken.
But I mean, dude, there is, you know, a Mexican fighter in almost every fight aside from Ortega Lopez and Sean O'Malley and Merab. I mean, Diego Lopez is Brazilian, but he trains in Mexico, trains with Grasso. I feel like Diego Lopez honorary Mexican.
Sean O'Malley too.
Sean O'Malley's wife is Mexican. His daughter's half Mexican.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley honorary Mexican.
Yeah.
Merab tries to say he's an honorary Mexican, but
nah,
I don't know. I don't
think
have
a Georgian flag on your chest or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Call yourself an honorary Mexican.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I mean, you know, like Sean O'Malley has like the hair color and all the tattoos of like a Lucha Libre mask.
Right?
You know what I mean? So
maybe what if he comes out in like a Lucha mask?
Oh, dude, that'd be lit. He should do that. He should do that. That'd be so cool.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
Should we all wear Lucha masks for?
I'll buy them right now.
For a fight companion.
Let's look on Amazon and see if I can get that thing.
Rush delivered.
Yeah, Lucha.
I want one.
Do a Lucha mask.
Let me see here.
Fight companion. We all rock out.
Oh, dude.
You probably get it for fairly
cheap. You can get an 8-pack. I can get an 8-pack of them overnighted.
What? Yep, for $100. Oh, Rey Mysterio one's $18.
Check that out, right there, baby. 8-pack.
Holy fuck!
All right, well, Saturday, September 14th. You know, we may throw a live stream up on YouTube or TikTok or somewhere. You know, be on the lookout for the boys wearing some Lucha Libre masks. That would be
I'll pull the trigger right now.
Definitely could happen, boys. It definitely could happen.
Yeah, we can just return it.
So, I mean, other than kind of, so, I mean, you know, a lot of good fights on here. I think we've touched on, you know, most of the biggest ones. You know, other storylines coming out of UFC 306, UFC Noche, UFC The Sphere would be, number one, they've lowered ticket prices a ton. So maybe not selling quite as many tickets to The Sphere as they earlier anticipated.
Yeah. Imagine we could have went.
Well, I mean, the cheapest ticket is still like $750 as we're recording this now.
I thought it was like $300.
Nah.
No,
Nah, unless they've got cut in half again. But I looked like yesterday, and they were $750. So still, but I think the viewing experience in there is going to be insane. The other thing is, I mean, technically UFC has a partner for this event, right? Riyadh Season,
yeah,
is kind of like a partnered sponsor for this event. I feel like that's kind of a big deal, opens up the doors to maybe stuff like that happening in the future. Maybe there is possibilities that we have more crossover events with UFC athletes. We had the McGregor and Floyd Mayweather thing. I don't know. If there's enough money involved, man, I think anything can happen.
agree.
Yeah.
Kane is a money man. He's a businessman.
You
He'll
know?
make it happen if he wants it to happen.
Yeah, if the fighters want it and there's enough money involved in a way to make it, make money doing it, I think there's a possibility we see it happen. I don't know a whole lot about the ins and outs and the fine details of that, but I think there's potential there. And then the other thing is Mexican Independence Day, UFC Noche, like this ode to Mexico, also on the same exact night as this event in Las Vegas, Canelo is boxing.
Yep.
Like across the street or some shit.
Yep.
It's gonna be nuts, man.
So, yeah, I mean, Mexican boxer, right? Boxing's incredibly popular in Mexico. What do you think the overall popularity will be, like, split between the two events? I mean, us, obviously, I feel like we're biased because we're
MMA guys.
much bigger MMA fans than boxing, but do you think that, the Canelo fight will, give the UFC event a run for its money Saturday?
100% way more, dude. I think it's gonna be way more Canelo watchers out there. Boxing is way bigger than the UFC, and Canelo, dude, I think
that's it. I mean, internationally,
yeah, internationally, dude, boxing is massive, and Canelo, dude, that guy.
Yeah, I would say maybe 10 years ago.
I don't know, man.
I don't know
Canelo's
now,
still a
man.
name. He's still a name like that.
He is. I agree. And boxing is definitely a massive sport. It is one of those weird ones where you have to think about okay, soccer and football,
right.
Soccer internationally is the biggest sport in the world, but the NFL is the biggest sport in America. So and to be in Vegas where is known for being the home of the UFC.
Well, I mean, Vegas,
sports in general, but
yeah, Vegas was the home for boxing way longer before
That's
UFC.
True. That's true.
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's interesting.
I think nowadays, though, UFC gives boxing a run for its money.
I don't think it's close. I think the UFC is way more popular. Like on that card, and I mean, obviously, I'm not in I'm not into boxing. I don't know, but when the storylines of this event at the Sphere with the UFC, there's so many different talking points. There's also so many different fights, like we even talked about, that fans are interested in, that I've seen people talk about online. The Diego Lopez Brian Ortega. You have another title fight with Alexei Grasso Valentina Shevchenko. There's a lot of other popular fighters on the UFC's card. I don't know anybody else that's fighting other than Canelo. I don't even know who Canelo's fighting.
Me neither, man. But I mean, those boxing fights, man, they have you watch them in the Middle East. You got a crowd full of all these sheiks. These guys wearing fucking. There's so much money behind those big names.
Yeah, but that's all it is in boxing, is the one main event, and then everything else under it is just kind of who gives a shit.
Yeah, bullshit.
So I don't know. I don't think it really derails anything the UFC's trying to do. We'll see. They're pouring a ton of money into this event. It's going to be the only time it happens. Once in a lifetime experience this Saturday. UFC 306, UFC the Sphere, UFC the Noche.
Oh, dude. I'm going to be at Joel's house for it. It's going to be fucking dirty.
It's going to be gangsta. All right, man. I don't know where else to go with this. I think I'm just ready to watch it. I just want it to be here. I want to watch some fights. I want to see Merab
next Saturday into me.
Yeah, I want to see Merab get his nose knocked straight. That's really what I want to see.
Yeah, I want part of his nose to fall off.
Yeah.
Just get ripped off.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You guys got anything else before we end it out?
No.
All good, brother.
Yeah. Well, if anybody is hanging on with us, YouTube, if you're not already supporting, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Click the thumbs up, like the video, share it with your friends, send it to somebody. Helps us a ton. Let us know that you like listening to the Over the Octagon podcast and our breakdowns of these UFC pay-per-views. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Amazon Music, or any other podcasting platform, please turn on automatic downloads, share it, rate the show 5 stars. Help us get this show to the next level.
Come on,
and with that, we're fucking out of here, baby.
All right, girl.